everyone. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes and then I will start. Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me um, another evening for another training. Um, well, not training, but a discussion, really. Um, this week, well, before I get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Waveney. I am a leadership coach and I help new managers develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work and leveraging their communication skills. Um, I am, just a quick synopsis of my background. In my 9 to 5, I am a director of human resources. And then there's my company, the People's Brand, where I help, I focus on persons that are new in their role. All right. And those persons can either be new to management or maybe they're transitioning. Um, into another career or industry. That's certainly happening a lot these days with the pandemic. So people are changing careers, people are going after what they want, people are living with abandon. They realize that life is short and there's so much going on. Like there's a term out there that's called the great resignation, where you have people that are resigning at just really, really large amounts in huge droves in companies in various industries. All right. Um, just a quick thing. I usually go live simultaneously, and so if you see me looking directly at you, if you see me looking the other way, I am both on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm doing it simultaneously. So thank you for joining me. Now, I have been, last week, I started this series, um, bringing you strategies, bringing you just highlighting. Um, Give me one moment. Let me turn off my AC. Thank you. I usually, the AC is so loud. Um, the AC is so loud, and what I usually do is I put it on to cool the room down. My fans are on, but I have all my ring lights around, so I could be very well lit, and you know, it doesn't look too dark, right? Um, those of you who do these type of things, you know how it goes. You have a million trillion lights all around you. People wouldn't even understand just to make you look good, right? But anyway, so I started these discussions last week on Facebook. If you haven't, on Instagram, if you haven't had a chance to check them out, please do so. If you want to share them out, do so as well. I've also put them on my YouTube channel. So if you want to share it to someone who's not on social media, everybody has access to YouTube, right? And so this week I'm speaking about topics that uh, highlight the mindset, right? Highlight the mindset that new leaders have. Okay. And sometimes people who have been in management for a long time, they have this mindset. Yesterday I spoke about, what did I speak about yesterday? I can't remember right now. But I spoke about double standards yesterday, and I said that being a manager isn't a license to do what you want. Some people consciously, unconsciously, they act and they behave in ways that give that impression. So check that out, and when you're done, of course, listening to me. And this evening, I want to talk about your title means nothing without work. So, your manager title doesn't mean anything. You have to put in the work, right? And so sometimes people have this mindset that I'm the manager, you should respect me, I know what I'm doing, follow my lead. And they sort of go into the role having this belief, having this idea. They think that their title is going to save them, that they won't have to do the work. And as I said in my introduction, what I help people do is to focus on building their relationship, right? See, somebody on Instagram is agreeing with me. Thank you. Building their relationship and with the others in the organization. This includes your boss, this includes your peers, this includes the providers that you are working with, this includes your team. Okay. And then focusing on your communication because you are not going to be communicating. Let me just refresh my comments here on Facebook to see if I have any. You are not and you cannot. Let me say it. You are not. You cannot communicate on the same level that you did before you went into management. Okay. Um, you probably were managing friends, and you and everybody probably were cool. Maybe you live on a small in a small community, such as myself, and so where everybody knows somebody, and you went to school with these people, and so you think that okay, I'm a manager, and yeah, they know me, we good, right? We say that we good, we cool, right? Newsflash, it is not going to work. You have to operate on a different level. And so I want tonight to share some stuff with you that goes on when you have that mindset. And if you see me looking down, I have my notes because I don't want to forget anything. So sometimes we are aware that we're doing this. Sometimes we have this mindset that I'm the manager and my manager title is going to, it's going to carry some weight, right? Um, and sometimes we are unaware that we are doing this, right? And so your title really don't mean anything, right? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything if you don't put in the work. Yes, I am not saying people shouldn't respect it, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything if you're not willing to connect with people, if you're not willing to be that support, if you don't know your role, if you are incompetent, it doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? You may get stuff done, but how are you getting them done? You have to ask for things like a million trillion times. People don't respect you, right? But I'll get into that later. So a few things may be happening, right? Um, People may be, and you need to be aware of this. You get into that role, and people may be envious of you. And these are just some reasons why your title don't mean anything. Why you can't skip steps. You can't skip the steps. You have to do the work that is required, right? So some people may be envious of you being in that role. They may have wanted that position. They may be saying, "Yes, I'm happy for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah." But secretly they wanted that job, right? Or I've been in the situation where you have office politics going on. You have politics going on where a senior leader may have wanted somebody else to be in that role, right? They have the job, as we just said, they have the job for someone, although that doesn't really work, right? It should be a fair process. Although sometimes you already have someone earmarked for that role, but that's a different conversation. But sorry, office politics, you may not be the one that they wanted for that role. Okay. So you can't depend on your title. You can't, it doesn't carry any weight, right? You have to prove yourself, right? You may also have some people are in situations where they have older employees. And when I say older, not just in terms of age, but in terms of seniority in the company, they've been there forever. They've been there since the inception. They've seen people come and go. And now your manager number 6, and they're thinking in their minds, okay, let me see what she is made of. Let me see what he's gonna do. Let me see what they're all gonna do, right? And you may have those things going on, which is why you cannot depend on your title. You can't skip the steps. You can't decide. Maybe you are viewing this and you're saying, well, I'm an introvert. I'm not really a people person. I don't like to talk to people. I had a client that said, you know, I was sharing some insight with her. And she was like, but I'm not into small talk. And it's not about small talk, it's about a connection with your team, right? It's only small talk if it's gossip, if it's leading to nowhere. But there, you have to build a connection with your team because people don't know you. How are you going to move the people person? The how are you going to move forward with your team, right? How are you going to like implement, uh, get those results that you want? Today I was listening to a webinar and they were talking about the same thing, the great resignation, because this is a huge topic in the HR world, in the world of management. And the guy was saying that this is more like the great breakup because work relationships, if you think about it, so much is riding on your relationship with your manager. If you think about it, your manager is the one that has a heavy impact on whether you get promoted or not. Your manager is the one who is doing your performance appraisal, which most likely is tied to a bonus or is tied to some sort of merit increase. And so you get a lot of anxiety if a manager has to say to you, hey, Mary, I need to talk to you. You're going to be like, what did I do? So it's more, he was saying that it was more like a relationship. And I couldn't agree with him more, right? And so you as a new leader, you as someone who want to make a difference, who really you've worked hard for this um, position, you've put in the work, you've done everything. You can't just, the work has just begun. Okay? Your work has just begun. Don't think that you're gonna ride in on this white horse and you're gonna save the day and people are just gonna love you, right? And it doesn't even matter if you have been working in the same organization and you come up through the ranks. You still have to earn the respect of persons because you're now going into a new role. Okay? You're now going into a new role. So you have to earn the respect of your senior leaders. You have to earn the respect of your boss. And you might be saying, but they gave me the promotion. They offered me the job. Yes, but people need to know what you're made of. They need to see what you bring to the table. Okay. I keep saying that what got you here, what got you there, what got you that role, that position, it's not the same skills, it's not the same things that is going to make you successful. You have to elevate. And so if you consciously or unconsciously go into a new role thinking, well, this is my title, right? This is my title and people will respect me. You are in for a rude awakening. You are in for a rude awakening. It doesn't work like that. Okay. Um, and so you may have all these things going on. And if if you think that you're gonna have it, I don't want to say easy, but if you think that you're gonna skip steps, that you're not gonna do anything, then what's going to happen is that your focus is going to be off because you're going to find that you're having resistance. And if you're in this position now, maybe this is what's happening. You're not taking the time to learn your team. You're not taking the time to ask the relevant questions. Okay. And so your focus is off because you have a plan. You had a plan going into this role. You have everything figured out, and now you're meeting the resistance, and you don't understand what's going on. Your focus is off. You're stressed out. You are asking for things, and you have to ask for them many times people are going slow with the requests, right? And maybe you decide, you know what, I I'm gonna document somebody. I'm gonna take somebody to HR, and this is what you do, and you resort to this type of thing, which really makes it even worse because here you are, you haven't taken the time to do the work that is required, right? The new manager groundwork. You haven't done the groundwork. You haven't laid the foundation. You're not connecting with anybody. You have four people reporting to you. You don't even know if they have a child, yes or not, and you don't care. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You can't do that, right? You don't even know how long that they've been working with the company. And this is something that I see quite often. People come into positions, and it's been done to me, as I've had many different managers, right? That I report to. I work, my background is in hospitality, and so, the turnover, not the turnover, but people move on in their careers. They come to a small place like our federation in a small community. They have a goal of staying 2 or 3 years and then they move on. So I've had a lot of experience with different managers, different nationalities, and all that. And many of them come in and they don't get to know the team. They don't look through the employees' files. Or even if they don't look through the employees' files, they don't even look at the person's resume. They don't get to know the people to know what is their history, what is their background, what else are you interested in. Yes, I know that you are doing accounting here, but they don't know that this person has a particular skill set. Okay. And this is the type of groundwork that I'm talking about. This is where you really should be spending a lot of your time. Yes, you want to succeed in your role. Yes, you need to know what you're doing. You need to build your competence, but you build your competence by building those other important things because your work is done through people. You're not a one man show. You're not a one man show, and you can't use a title to get your work done. It's not going to work. No. Okay. And so you're frustrated, you're going home late, um, you're wondering if you made the right decision, all because you didn't take the time. And I wanna introduce you to a concept um, that many people are not aware of. If what I'm saying makes sense, let me know. So far, if you agree with me, if you have any questions, let me know. Put it in the comments and the chat box. Even if you're watching this on replay, I'm going to get a notification on it. So I'll come back and respond. So there's something that's called a psychological contract. A psychological contract, and it's really an informal sort of expectation that most people have with their workplace. And this is why you need to ask the relevant questions. You need to communicate because there may be people on your team that have certain expectations of you that you are not aware of, right? And it could be expectations with regards to pay. Maybe they were promised something, like a lot of weak leaders promise people things, right? They promise people things. They're like, yeah, 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 I got you here. I was the one who got you this job, and yeah, I could do this for you, knowing fully well that they are not the only decision maker, and they've gone and they leave, and now there's this new manager that's coming in, and they're asking all sorts of things, and this person is going asking you for a raise, and you're giving them a particular answer. You're just saying no, not right now, and there are other things going on. The person gets resentful. Like it's a whole thing. This is why you need to connect with your team. Okay, so that's just an example. Another thing that may be going on is promotions. Maybe people were promised promotions. Maybe they were, you know, promised that if they did this project in the next 2 years, in the next 6 months, this is going to happen. Hey, Kenny, good night. This is going to happen. People promise people things, and I've seen it. I see it almost very often. I don't want to say every day. Very, very often, where managers want to go and they want to promote people. And instead of coming and having a conversation first and only with the people who could make it happen, like HR or the managing director or country manager or whomever, they go and tell the person, hey, I want to promote you. I'm going to talk to HR about this. I'm going to talk to this person about this. And then when it doesn't happen because there are other factors involved, then they have to go back with egg on their faces to the person. Or if they're a weak manager, they'll say, well, they'll throw HR under the bus, they'll throw the senior leaders under the bus. It happens all the time. Right? We can't do that. We can't do that. And so um, other psychological contracts that are on informal expectations that people have is about pay, not about pay, I'm sorry, training and feedback, right? Um, they haven't been given feedback. So, or they expect feedback in a particular way. So, these are just some things that are going on, maybe going on beneath the surface. And then here you are coming into the equation, right? And you are not taking the time, you're skipping the steps, you are expecting that your title is director or the title is managing this, and you expect that yes, people are going to do what they're supposed to do because this is it, and you don't have to do the work, you don't have time, you have these goals and you want to get it done, you want to tackle it, right? It doesn't work. You have to take the time. You have to take the time to get to know the people on your team. You have to take the time to build those relationships. And I'm not saying you have to build those relationships just to get work done. It's a partnership, right? It's a partnership. It happens all at the same time, right? It is amazing to me that the things that people, that new managers, old managers think are a waste of time are is not really work. It is work because this is how your work is done through people. Your work is done through others. As a new manager, you have to understand, yes, your role. You have to understand what is the expectation, and you have to understand your boss. And this doesn't, I speak a lot about your team, but it's also about understanding your boss. Your boss has fears. It's also about managing up. Your boss has fears as well. Maybe they're new in their position, or maybe they are a woman. And I'll be very honest, being a woman in a particular type of position or a senior position, sometimes there is pressure there because you feel like you have to prove yourself, right? You may be in an organization the only woman on this particular, the executive team or what have you, and so you feel like you have to prove yourself, right? These things happen. And so you have to know your job, right? What's expected. You need to understand your team, you need to understand your boss expectations, right? You need to know that. You need to understand your team dynamic, what is going on there. You need to have a little bit of a history, right? Without getting caught up in the drama and the gossip. You need to have a little bit of a history of the team and the persons on the team, where their interests lie. You need to understand if anything was promised to them. You need to paint a clear picture of the vision forward. These are things, this is where you should be spending your time and not spending your time thinking that because you're in charge, it's going to work. Does this make sense to you? So, focusing, and I'm wrapping up now, focusing on your relationships, your work relationships, and your communication style, how you're perceived, your competence, you know, will give you that respect and credibility that you need to drive forward. Okay. In my coaching program, Communicator Influence, I teach you this. This is why I do what I do. I have a 90-day coaching program. It's called Communicator Influence, and I help new managers navigate these pitfalls. You have tools, you have templates, you have, coaching sessions, you have training videos where I help you navigate what is a very uncertain time for people, what can be a very stressful time for people. The people who follow the people's brand, the people who tune in religiously, you are someone that you're ambitious, you're driven, you want to do the best. You're not here, I think, to what we say skylark. We used to say that in school. You're not here to play around, right? You want to make a difference and you want to do the right thing. And so my Communicator Influence program will help you with that, where you work with me one on one for 90 days. But you guys heard me say at the beginning, I still have my 9 to 5, and so I can only take on a certain number of clients. So, what you want to do if you're interested in working with me, if you stumble upon this video and or you've been, following me for a while, you're new in your position and you want to make a difference and you want to work with me, then schedule a consultation call. If you are on Instagram, the link is in the bio. If you're on Facebook, there's a link that's showing up on the live stream that should be, or you can go to the about section and you will find it. But schedule your consultation call with me this week. Let's chat. Let's see if you're the right fit, okay, for the program, because I don't work with any and anybody. If you don't, if you're somebody who's skipping steps, who don't want to do the work, well, I can't turn you into an influential leader. I don't have a magic potion. You have to do the work. I will show up 100%. I commit 100%, and but you need to do the work as well. You need to commit as well to your growth and your development. Okay. And so this is all I have to share with you this evening. Um, I will be back tomorrow evening, but I will be back at 7:30, and I will be speaking on another topic. So just make sure you put your notifications on and share this video out, share this live stream out with someone who you think could really benefit from this. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Bye.